Daniel Whitmore's estate sat on a quiet, tree-lined street in suburban Massachusetts, the kind of place where security cameras blended into elegant architecture and neighbors rarely spoke unless they shared a private jet. As one of the youngest tech millionaires in the United States, Daniel had built his fortune on precision, data, and control. Yet inside his perfectly managed world lived a problem he could not solve: his daughter Lily. Lily was 8 years old and had been sick for nearly 2 years. No fever lasted long enough to diagnose, no symptom stayed consistent enough to label. Some days she complained of nausea, other days dizziness, and on the worst nights, she woke gasping for air, clutching her chest as if something unseen were pressing down on her. Daniel flew her to specialists in New York, Chicago, and Stanford. Each visit ended the same way: normal scans, clean blood work, polite confusion. The doctor's uncertainty frightened him more than any diagnosis could have. After his wife's sudden death 3 years earlier, Daniel had become both father and guardian, struggling to balance grief, business, and parenthood. His schedule forced him to travel constantly, and Lily spent more time with tutors and caregivers than with him. When her condition worsened, his advisors insisted he hire a full-time nanny, someone experienced, discreet, and reliable. That was how Maria Alvarez arrived. Maria was 35, professional and composed, with years of experience caring for children in high-profile households across the East Coast. She noticed Lily's fragility immediately. The child moved slowly, spoke softly, and carried exhaustion in her eyes that no child should know. Despite the luxury surrounding her, Lily seemed withdrawn, as though the house itself weighed on her. The first night, Maria understood something was wrong. As bedtime approached, Lily's hands began to tremble. She complained of stomach pain and asked to keep the lights on. When Maria suggested checking under the bed for toys, Lily panicked, grabbing her arm with surprising strength. "Please don't," she whispered, her voice shaking. Maria assumed fear, imagination, or unresolved grief. Still, the intensity unsettled her. Lily refused to sleep unless Maria stayed in the room. Each time Maria stepped away, Lily became nauseous and dizzy within minutes. By morning, Lily looked pale and drained, as if she hadn't slept at all. The pattern repeated itself every night. Maria began to observe quietly. Lily's symptoms worsened only after dark. Her breathing changed near bedtime. She woke repeatedly, terrified but unable to explain why. During the day, she improved slightly, though fatigue never fully left her. One evening, while tucking Lily in, Maria asked gently what scared her so much at night. Lily hesitated, then whispered something that made Maria's chest tighten. "It makes me sick," Lily said, "and Daddy says not to talk about it." Maria forced a calm smile, but inside, alarm beat. Maria could no longer ignore the pattern. By the second week, she had begun keeping quiet notes in her phone. Times, symptoms, changes in Lily's mood. Every entry pointed to the same conclusion: whatever was hurting Lily came alive at night. She started staying awake after Lily fell asleep, sitting in the armchair near the window. The house itself seemed to change after midnight. The soft hum of climate control deepened, and the silence grew heavier, almost tense. Around 1 a.m., Lily stirred for the first time, her forehead damp, her breathing shallow. "It's starting," Lily murmured, half asleep. Maria leaned closer. "What's starting, sweetheart?" "The noise." At first, Maria heard nothing. Then slowly, a faint tapping reached her ears, irregular, mechanical, barely loud enough to notice unless one was listening for it. It came from beneath the bed. Maria stood, heart racing, and took a step forward. Lily's eyes snapped open. She grabbed Maria's wrist, panic flooding her face. "No," she whispered urgently. "Daddy said never look." Maria froze. Why would he say that? Lily shook her head, tears forming. "He said it's nothing, but it makes me dizzy. It smells funny sometimes." That night, Maria barely slept. The tapping continued for nearly an hour before fading. By morning, Lily was exhausted, her hands trembling as she tried to hold her spoon at breakfast. The next day, Maria brought her concerns to Daniel Whitmore. She chose her words carefully, aware of the power imbalance between them. She mentioned Lily's worsening symptoms at night, the fear, the sounds. Daniel's expression tightened. "This house is fully inspected," he said curtly. "We've invested in advanced air systems. Nothing here could hurt her. But the sounds, Maria began. Pipes, Daniel interrupted. Old framing. You're new here. These houses settle. The conversation ended there. That night, Maria made a decision. She waited until Lily was asleep and the tapping began again. Using her phone for light, she slowly knelt beside the bed. Lily whimpered softly but didn't wake. Maria reached under the bed, expecting dust, maybe a loose vent. Her fingers brushed against metal. She pulled gently and revealed a narrow, concealed panel embedded into the floor beneath the bed frame. Behind it, a small device glowed faint blue, emitting a low hum. Thin vents on its surface released something unseen into the air. Maria's stomach dropped. She had seen similar devices once before, during a previous job, experimental, ultrasonic equipment used in limited clinical research. Prolonged exposure could cause nausea, headaches, sleep disruption, and severe anxiety, especially in children. This wasn't part of the house. It had been installed deliberately. Maria unplugged it, her hands shaking. Almost immediately the humming stopped. The air felt different, lighter. Lily's breathing eased, her body relaxing for the first time Maria had witnessed at night. As Maria sat back, one thought overwhelmed her. By morning, the change in Lily was undeniable. She woke up without nausea, without the familiar grey pallor that usually clung to her face. She ate breakfast slowly but steadily, and for the first time since Maria had arrived, she smiled without forcing it. The improvement was too sudden to be coincidence. Maria kept the device hidden in her bag and waited until Daniel returned from his morning meetings. When she showed it to him in his study, the color drained from his face. For several seconds he said nothing, staring at the small machine as though it was something alive. "I never meant for this to happen," Daniel finally said, his voice low. "I was told it was safe." Maria held his gaze. It was hidden under her bed. That means someone knew exactly where she would be every night. Daniel sank into his chair. He admitted that after his wife's death, Lily had developed severe night terrors and insomnia, desperate for a solution. He had consulted a private researcher who claimed to be developing non-invasive technology to regulate sleep and anxiety through ultrasonic frequency. The device, Daniel said, was supposed to calm Lily's nervous system. He was assured it was harmless. "But it wasn't approved," Maria replied, "and it was never monitored." Daniel nodded, shame settling heavily on his shoulders. He confessed that he had the device installed secretly, afraid doctors or child services would interfere if they knew he was using something untested. When Lily started getting sick, he convinced himself it was grief, stress, anything except the truth he didn't want to face. That afternoon, Maria contacted a child safety advocate and a medical professional she trusted. Within hours, officials arrived to document the device and evaluate Lily. Daniel cooperated fully. His wealth and influence could not shield him from the seriousness of what had happened. Though his remorse was evident, the device was taken away for analysis. Lily was examined again, this time with a clear cause in mind. Doctors explained that prolonged ultrasonic exposure could explain nearly all of her symptoms. They advised strict observation, fresh air circulation, and, most importantly, real rest without interference. Over the following weeks, Lily transformed. She slept through the night. The dark circles under her eyes faded. She laughed more, asked questions, and began playing outside again. Her teachers noticed improvements in focus and energy. Every passing day confirmed what Maria had already known. Lily had never been mysteriously sick. She had been harmed by something invisible and misunderstood. Daniel took responsibility publicly and privately. He stepped back from work, submitted to oversight, and began rebuilding trust with his daughter the only way possible, through honesty and presence. There were consequences, but there was also a chance for healing. One evening, as Maria tucked Lily into bed, Lily peeked under the frame herself and smiled. "It's gone," she